Hello friends of Cosmic AGC, I'm Gosha, and in today's video I will share with you a thought and a part of the conversation that Athena Svarou had with some of the crew members up there. They had a conversation about this, and this is how she started talking to us about this, and then the topic developed into Cabal symbols and Illuminati symbology and all that. But first, it started with Athena sharing with us that up there they were sitting down and they had a chat. They were looking at the painting. I think it's a painting, some sort of an image that I have on the wall of a ship, and in that ship, on the side of that ship, that's their fighter ship, there is a certain emblem, and I'm going to show this emblem to you in this video. And she's sharing with us that this emblem is exactly the same emblem that the Cabal is using in a certain company. You'll see in the video what I'm referring to. So this is something that is worrying them a little bit because, why? Because it looks like these symbols is something that is invented on Earth, of Earth terrestrial origin, and then when we come and we say that this symbol is actually Taigetan or extraterrestrial, it may not look right to people, exaggerated. It looks like they are up there too human with all these ordinary looking symbols like that already known on Earth, when in fact it is the reverse. It is the Cabal that robbed many of these symbols and took them as their own. That's what's happening with a lot of symbols, like for example a triangle. And this is something I want to mention, because some people say this to me. Why do you have the triangle in your logo? You must be Illuminati. Well, no, I deny Illuminati the power to take over all these universal and ancient symbols as their own. Yes, they are associated now with the Cabal and with the Illuminati, but that's not their origin. And it's the case with the triangle. My logo is a triangle because I love triangles. I always have. I love all the geometrical symbols. So actually this logo I designed back in 2011 when I was still living in Costa Rica, and with my friend at the time, graphic designer, I was thinking what logo to put for my new esoteric store, metaphysical spiritual store, which I'm going to have in Barcelona. I was moving to Barcelona in 2011 to open a spiritual little boutique shop, and my name was Cosmic Agency in Spanish, and that was the logo that I came up with. It seemed to be very nice. I love the triangle, and it has like little flowy walls, and on the top there is an symbol. So the point of this is that many of these symbols, their origin is extraterrestrial and is positive, and it doesn't belong to the Cabal or Illuminati, as you will see with the symbol that I'm going to show you in today's video. And then the topic goes on to general symbology used by the Cabal or Illuminati there, etc. So enjoy the video, and until the next time, bye bye.
Originally in Spanish, February 5th, 2022. See, this is what we were talking about between us just now. That nothing would fit for the humans the way they imagine things to be. As we were talking here, I was looking at a painting on the wall in the living room quarters. It is the image of a scimitar-class ship approaching to land. And the emblems on the ship fit exactly with my point here, that nothing that goes on here will ever make sense for the humans. It will always go against their expectations. The whole front of the ship in the image has the design painted in a very colorful way.
What do you mean?
Looking for images. You know this. Apis bull,
Yes, very much so.
That's Taygetan emblem. But it gets worse. The emblem that is painted big on the side of the ships, and almost every Taygeta fighter has it as an emblem somewhere, including Susie too, is this one. So how do you think the public would take that?
In those colors? And if so, why those colors?
No, the Taygetas are black, the bulls, with the silver sun. They are not in those colors, and they don't say Red Bull, but it's the same logo exactly, like on that car.
And it would mean the same as the Toro Apis?
Yes, it means Taurus, Pleiades.
How beautiful. And that sun, would it mean this sun 13?
On Earth, yes. For Taygeta, it means, well, Taygeta. In the minds of the public, extraterrestrial spaceships, Red Bull, really? No one would believe us if we say it.
Here, I imagine it gets much more complicated because of the wings.
And yes, it gets even more complicated because of the wings, yes. With Red Bull giving you wings, like the commercial says. Why do you think it gives you wings? And I have to insist that it's the exact same logo.
And why do you think it gives you wings?
Many interpretations, like that it kills you by so much caffeine and sugar. But in itself, it means that you fly as an Egyptian and Sumerian deity. But my point is, many things are not as people would expect, and they wouldn't understand it. Even Susie too has that logo on her right side, down near the belly, but you see it from the side. 2 black bulls with a silver sun between them. The Red Bull logo exactly. That's how it is on Susie. 2 black bulls with a silver sun.
And the Toleka also has that logo?
Not on the outside, because Toleka is very big, but you can find it in many places inside. Toleka has a crown logo with a girl with white hair and a red cape in the center. The emblem of the ship alone must be about 4 stories tall. However, when you are on approach, you can barely see it. Everything is connected by secret societies and came from Egypt, and they take it, twisting everything like the meaning of Atonism, the sun, and the new dawn. Apis bull, symbolism of Taurus, Pleiades, plus flying ship on the serpent, plus the sun, any sun, but in the case of Apis, it is sun 13. This is from ancient Egypt, full of extraterrestrial influence. And the controllers, Earth Cabal, took all that symbolism as their own, with the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, Atonism, etc. As with everything else, they inserted in the modern times in their logos, because we know that they communicate through that symbology. As it is the Cabal, they had contact in the past with ships of Taygeta, from where they took the logo and they liked it. They modified it to their taste, but little, and that's it. And now it is attributed to this or that terrestrial designer, who is obviously taking an Apis bull as a model and the original symbol. But I presented this as an example of something simple and logical, easily understandable, which, however, can cause us more harm than good if shared, because it lends itself to obvious controversy and really does not contribute anything of weight to this disclosure work. I won't tell you not to publish something, though, unless it is extremely dangerous. And what I know you can't publish, I don't even tell you about. But let the public know, because of the existence of the Apis bull, that this is not a new logo, nor is it original terrestrial. It is a blatant, direct copy of the one here, as with so many others. And then they turn it around to say that we are too human, when it is the other way around. Yes, exactly. There are so many symbols that have been stolen by the Cabal. That's why I have the triangle in my logo, because I like them, and I won't deny myself that just because Illuminati uses it. Right, they appropriated ancient symbols. They don't own them.
It's just, Athena, for many people, it's even absurd that you eat, that you go to the bathroom, that you put on makeup. The New Age and mind control has really wreaked a lot of havoc on the human collective.
That is so simple, and it has taken a lot of work for them to understand. That humanity was neither generated, nor created, nor evolved, as they tell you there with the official sciences and religions, be it the current ones or the Sumerian ones. All that is dogma and religion. It should not be followed blindly or literally. And speaking of the symbolism used by the Cabal, all those symbols they put everywhere, from pyramids, all-seeing eyes, artists who cover only one eye, the fact that many celebrities have got a black eye all of a sudden, horns of evil entities that is better not to say their names, symbolism of sacred geometry in everything, even in the cities. The list is long. I see it as a distractor for people who are just beginning to realize that something is not right in the world, to spend hours with their attention on those symbols, looking for them everywhere, diverting their attention from other, more subtle things that matter more. Although all that is true, yes, they use them to communicate with each other, to say that something is theirs, or that this or that famous person belongs to them. It is still another level of destruction. One must transcend that. That is not all. That is a low level of the Cabal, very in contact with the people. Yes, they communicate like that, but very little. Only as signatures of presence and as sigils of power. It is part of a set of magic of powers, with markers that indicate from where to where or what belongs to them. And they help themselves this way when moving very real dark energies that help their purposes. For example, a blacked out eye symbolizes either that it belongs to them as part of their group, or in the case when the person is not of their group, it symbolizes the triumph of evil over good, the coming of darkness, and the dualism of light and dark, all Illuminati Masonic symbolism. These levels of Illuminati use real powers that mankind does not know are there, but have always been in front of them. However, science and the media discredit them for the same reason they discredit the existence of UFOs and ETs for power, for manipulation of the masses. Those kinds of powers I'm referring to are known as witchcraft and black magic. But going back to the symbols, it is not the great secret of the Illuminati to be able to read these symbols. Behind, they don't even use that. Beyond, in those slightly more hidden levels, they don't even use the same economy that humanity uses anymore. They use gold. They have coins minted in high purity gold, and with that they do their transactions. And they also move with an internal political system among their clans and lodges that do not obey or observe official political divisions, like countries and states. And further back, there is even no money. It is all power. They only take what they need from their own supply chains and factories. At those levels, they don't use iPhones, HP PCs, or Samsung monitors. They have their own improved and non-human technology, although in the end, nothing is. That technology that they show humanity and give them in dribs and drabs, like smartphones, they give it to them little by little only when they are interested in the result they will have with it. But they already had it, and much more. They just give the illusion of progress to distract the masses, in this example of cell phones. In the case of cell phones, they keep the population happy with a new toy that wows and entertains them. Bread and circus, more glass beads for the natives. But what is behind it all is very dark. First they gave the internet, then cell phones, all as part of a pre-arranged plan by human and non-human entities. Nothing is ultimately human, to further control the psyche of mankind. With a hypnotizing TV box that follows them everywhere, so that they do not coexist, so that they are with their nose in that device all the time, controlling their values and their thoughts with more programming that will then be reflected in their DNA, limiting it without laboratory, and adapting their consciousness in an unconscious way, and opening the direct way to the new invasive DNA change alteration with the graphene found in the magic doses. As we have already explained before, a change in the DNA will not be possible if the person's consciousness has not been modified and remains controlled also after the invasive change. While objectively, the use of cell phones and the internet has connected the world, bringing about a collective world unity through ease of communication and the transfer of data with great efficiency, which many claim has served for the great awakening of humanity, in the end, it was only part of the great plan to reset all of humanity, to control it more towards a planetary dictatorship, as was always their goal. Although I must say that I do not like that term awakening, because you were not asleep. They are levels of consciousness, not a simple duality between awake and asleep. Besides, that term is already used and abused in other contexts everywhere. I accept that there are good parts, because there was freedom of expression there as never before on planet Earth. But there is no more. As someone said out there, without freedom of speech, they wouldn't know who the morons are. Changing the words to make them nicer. But that freedom of movement of ideas, when controlled, ends up being a big filter that only ends up controlling the population more. All this without mentioning the transhumanism that comes behind all this. Because it does not end with the cell phones that follow them everywhere, listen and watch them, without people seeing it or understanding why, if they feel they are simple citizens who obey the law and the rules of the system. Being that the Cabal in low levels, but already controller Cabal, does not use the same communication systems. Not only do they use super high technology like the muonic, but mostly they use low technology that is isolated from the normal human telecommunications network. Since these controllers, even at the human level, are few in number, they use a lot of old analog telephone networks with rotary phones and manual switches with operators who stretch elastic cords and plug them into the other number they wish to call. This makes them untraceable from the human level, but the other way round they can. And why do they use this ancient technology? I don't understand. First of all, because at lower levels of your Cabal Illuminati club, people at that level do not have the permission or the rights to use more advanced things, like muonic. But they do have the level of permissions necessary to be able to use telecommunication systems that are not traceable by human society in general, whoever it is that wishes to trace them. It is old telecommunications infrastructure, yes, but extremely reliable and untraceable digitally because it is analog.